What's up, YouTube? What's up, everybody, to the first episode of the Not Safe for Work podcast. We are live for the first time. I was just thinking, I said, you know what? We've been recording. Let's go ahead and take this live. Let the people see us live. Let the conversation flow live. So we're definitely going to get right into it. So first off, one of the things that we do in this podcast is we have the conversation around uncomfortable truths, the things that plague us as a generation, the conversations that we want to have that we can't have at work. So just going to introduce everybody. You got your boy KJ, you got your girl Lisi, you got your boy AJ, and you got your girl Spicy Lee. So we're going to get right into it. The topic for today. Today's topic is who matures faster, men or women? And I'm going to give my opinion straight off the bat with that one. So when it comes
so backward.
Oh yeah, here we go. When it comes to maturity, we've always been told that women mature faster than men. They just grow up faster than us. They're at that level before us. So one of the things I think is that was true. Women used to mature faster than men. I would say maybe 100 years ago in the past. But in this day and age, women mature faster than men physically, but when it comes to emotional and mental stability, I think women are slower in their maturity than men. Here's why. I think women are developing slower because society has coddled them to where they're not meant to meet the same expectations that they were meant to meet, let's say back in the early 1900s, right? In the early 1900s, women were married by 15, 16, 18, right? They were having kids at an early age. So yes, they were forced to mature sooner. They had responsibilities sooner. They had things that they had to take care of. They had another life they were responsible for sooner. Things were much harder back in the day. Now, in this new generation, I think men are maturing faster than women when it comes to the emotional and mental side because men are less coddled. Men are facing reality as soon as they turn 18. As soon as they get out of high school, we're expected to produce, whereas women are coddled by society and they're given time to kind of learn from their mistakes. They're given time to make mistakes. They're given time to kind of do what they want. And I just really want to get you guys' opinion on that. And whoever wants to start, go ahead. What do you guys think?
What's the ladies first?
Oh, wow. I'm sorry. You want me to say? One, I'm going to say I wholeheartedly disagree. I think that was evident by me laughing once you named the topic we were discussing today. I feel like even with the way society has changed, men are still not, they don't mature as quickly as women. Now you have different scenarios, right? Where somebody maybe had to do a lot in their family and so they had to mature quickly. But on the grand scheme of things, I would say no. Women, like, what's one of the things that people say about women? We're emotional beings. And so with us having that emotional, I don't know, basis, a lot of times we view things differently and in a sense mature quicker than men. So I would say no. I'm still trying to I'm still laughing at the comment. I need to get my thoughts together, but yeah, overall no. Like,
what would you say? What makes you say no though? Like, what makes you say, like, how? Like, when I look at the maturity level of a man and a woman at the age of 21, I think it's night and day. I think men have a much more stronger grasp of reality and the consequences and repercussions of reality.
I think,
and I can say women have that. Sorry, go ahead, Spicy.
No. Finish your statement. I'll wait till you're finished.
I was saying that women also have to go through things. So women, we're not called up through things now. What's one of the things that people give them? Boys will be boys. You don't ever hear the comment, women will be, or girls will be girls, or, you never hear that comment. So in a lot of things, boys are coddled. And which is why I believe men in general will mature in certain things a lot, slower, or just slower. I won't say a lot slower, but slower than women. And so there's different things that we're caught on. Like somebody said, oh, she has to let her go through her feelings. Whereas a guy, if he does something, oh, he's a man, he's gonna do that. And so there's certain things that each of us mature differently on. But on the grand scheme of things, I have to say women mature faster. That may be biased, but go ahead, Spicily.
I don't think it's biased because you have to think genetically. Genetics hasn't changed. Boys still develop slower than women. So you said women we mature faster physically. I find that a little offensive because I mean it's more than just physical. And if you think about physicality, that's where I'd say genetics, because we already physically are becoming young ladies at 15, 16, 17-year-old, right? But boys are not the same. So if you think about genetically that you can't develop quicker than a woman, how can you think you can mentally or to even on a mature level? I think maybe you may start to develop thinking more logically because women are emotional beings. So you may be more logical as far as maturity, but not emotionally, and you damn sure ain't stable. So I don't know how the hell your ass so mature faster than women. I'm just being honest. Like,
no, that's what we like. Keep it honest.
Because everything comes with age. So there's a lot of things that you lag. So when you hit 40, you like, damn, now is the time where I feel like my career is starting to pop off, or now is the time I feel like I can settle. Why does it take men to 40 to settle, but it takes women to 28, 30? That should answer your question right there about maturity.
I got something on that. AJ, what's on your mind with this?
All right. Yo, yeah, we definitely done popped it off with the woman leading right now. Like, I hear your argument, and like I saw glimpses of what you were trying to refer to. Like, granted, the fact that like men typically are expected to start providing early on, like 18 years old, they're trying to kick dudes out the house, is not looked upon as favorably when you see a guy returning back home at 19, 20, 21, 22 years old. Like, you look like a bum. But for a woman to still be at home, it's like, all right, that's more acceptable, right? We don't want to put our girl out there too soon. But to Spicy Lee's point, physically, like, women do mature faster. Cognitively, they mature faster. But when it comes to like making those kind of logical decisions, I think men typically have more practice doing so. Like, we're forced to, I guess, master our, not even master, probably even like repress some of our emotional decision making. We're forced to be heavier on the logical side. It's like, all right, make a split decision. We have no time to feel anything. Go one direction or another, and that's it. You just go hard and you just keep going. Now, like, as you get more into life, like, you start figuring out, like, all right, are we maturing professionally? Are we maturing relationally? Because there can be two different like paths where a guy can be super mature in terms of, I guess, figuring out ways to produce income and to move professionally or to find some means of resources, becoming extremely resourceful. But then on the flip side, like, have no sense of direction when it comes to like relationally building up anything. So like, and that again, in society, men don't have to mature as quickly because, again, we tend to be outnumbered by the number of women. So it's like we don't really have to if we don't want to. So that's something else that didn't work in the guys' favor in terms of maturing in that direction.
All right, gather around. Let me paint you a picture here. Let me paint the picture for you. You give an 18-year-old man and an 18-year-old woman. The biggest difference between an 18-year-old man and an 18-year-old woman is an 18-year-old woman has value and an 18-year-old man has to obtain value. Do you guys agree or disagree with that?
I mean, that's basically what that is saying, because maturity is developed at certain stages based on your personal growth.
So the point is that women are born with value. Women inherently are, when they hit 16, 17, 18, their value is known, right? They have value that they can market from the beginning, right? No one gives a fuck.
What value are you speaking of?
I'm just talking about in general and value in life, right? Oh, no one is, when it comes to life, a woman at 18 has more value than a man at 18, depending, let's say they're both average people, right? The point I'm trying to make is, because she is born with value, she doesn't see the reality in the way an 18-year-old boy would see reality, right? So an 18-year-old boy, when he graduates high school, let's say he doesn't go to college. Let's say you have an 18-year-old boy who doesn't go to college, an 18-year-old girl who doesn't go to college, and they go out in their life. who's going to live a better life from 18 to 28? I'm going to say the 18-year-old girl is going to live a better life. Why? Because the 18-year-old man is met with reality like this. A 16-year-old boy is met with reality like this. So they're forced to mature faster now than what women used to. It's like a reverse. Women used to be forced to mature faster because they had real life scenarios at a very young age. Now it's the opposite. Young men have real life scenarios at a very young age. So an 18-year-old guy, he's coming out, oh, I got to do something. I got to obtain resources. I got to obtain value. I got to go make something of myself. Because in the real world, they will tell an 18-year-old man he's a bum, right? Hey, look, oh, what are you doing? You're working at GameStop? Oh, man, an 18-year-old girl would look at an 18-year-old man and say, oh, dude, you work at GameStop? You're a bum. Why? Because she has value for just being a feminine woman. She has value where she could date a guy who works at Goldman Sachs and is making $60,000, like $500,000, right? And he may be 30. So she's able to be coddled through life where she doesn't really face the real world situations as the 18-year-old guy is going to face right out the bat. And that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that men now have to mature faster than women, and women are coddled through life due to just the way the world has progressed over the last few centuries. That's the point I'm trying to make. Does that make any sense to any of y'all?
I see the theory.
You see the theory. So tell me, what do you think of the theory?
You're basically the only point right now is that a man has to be a man at the end of the day. That's your whole theory. That's your whole theory. A man has to be a man. But at the same time, a woman, you're saying she grows up with values. So that means a woman is trained to be a woman. So we're still constantly maturing on the same level, but in the aspects of our role, women and man. The man's job is to provide. So of course, financially, he has to secure himself. So he's going to mature financially and learn to think logically in life. But women, we have to be emotional beings. Why? We have to take care of the children. We have to soon take care of our husband. We have to be emotionally available while we're still trying to obtain different things. You got to understand, women wear more than one hat, okay? We're mature in a lot more levels than what you think.
But how many women are doing that right now? But how many women at 18 to, let's say, 25 have families or have kids? Like, you know, how many of them are facing those real world situations right now?
But the situation doesn't have to be
popular as it was 100 years ago. That's my point.
You don't have to be 18, a woman who's 18 and pregnant and married before and then that's the only way you face real life situations. Like there are different, like everybody's journey is going to be different. So somebody can get married at 18. They have they have their husband, wife, respectively, and they have children, and that's their real life experience. Then you have people who go off to college. You have people who go off to trade schools. You have people who get into, whatever else they may get into. Everybody's experience is going to be differently. And your journey, like I said, I'm still on the side where women mature faster. Your journey, though, in general, will mature you. At what level is what we're discussing here. But just because somebody is not married at 18 to 25 or something does not mean that just because somebody is not married at 18 to 25 doesn't mean they haven't experienced real life, just because they're not taking care of a husband, wife, and children.
But how else are they supposed to face reality? AJ, what's your thought on that?
I mean, I was just thinking about a few different scenarios, especially when it comes to our community. Like, we're not expected, I'll say by the grand majority of things, we're not really expected to achieve much. Like, they feed so much social media down our throats. It's like, look how easy it is to become a YouTuber. Look how easy it is to become an OnlyFans, popular host or whatever the case may be. Look at all these side hustles you can do. So it can stifle your growth. And those are the kind of things that are like fed to us, whether it's boys or girls. So it's like our community is purposely stifled in terms of our maturity. Now, there are some people that will, bypass that, and they'll try to get their grind on by finding multiple streams of income. That's becoming more popularized on social media. But I mean, it's like, depending on your circle, you'll find that some people are maturing faster than others, because it's like, we have to outpace what society is telling us is acceptable, especially with this social media craze right now. So in terms of who's going faster, like who's maturing faster, who's maturing earlier, I still think, women are on it faster because, like, again, emotionally, you have to find that balance. Any mature guy, again, it takes us longer to get to the point. I think you would agree, Jay, that like men tend to hit their prime in their like 40s or 50s,
Correct.
whereas women they hit
Financial
their
prime.
primes. No, I would say financial and like emotional prime too, because then you start realizing that you stop thinking of your dick and you start thinking with your big head, right? And so like you start thinking what matters in life. Just on the video we just watched, the dude was like, you know what? I've done been with all these different women over here. I've been with the baddest of the bad. I done made 6 figures, 7 figures before. What's more important now is how I mature in life. Like who's going to be with me when like I can't keep up with this pace here? Who's going to help me secure everything? And we don't really think about that until we've done lived our heyday, sold our royal oats, and then we start maturing, like thinking like, wow, okay, legacy. What does that matter? What's my footprint on this life going to mean after all this other stuff? And that to me doesn't hit us or become. We don't like see the finite, I guess, portion of our lives until we hit that quarter midlife crisis, like between our 30s and 40s, and then we start really settling down into it in our 50s. Whereas women, they already got their core like at 18. Like girls get solid within their core girlfriends. And like, you know what? I needed this click. They've helped me get over boyfriends. They helped me get over this situation. And they just like all cry together. They just go through stuff together. And like, they just feel stuff. They feel stuff and they get over stuff and they learn and they grow because they tap into that stuff that like makes them realize like, look, this life is real and life is hard and like we got to get through the stuff together.
But see, the point I'm trying to make, and I would love to hear from the ladies on this one. Ladies, who is allowed to fail, right? Who is impacted more by failing? A 21-year-old man or a 21-year-old woman? Who is impacted more by failing? And when I say failing, I mean like not on their grind, not on their purpose, not developing, no self-development. Who is impacted more by that? A 21-year-old man or a 21-year-old woman?
I think people overall are affected by failure, whether you're a man or woman. So that's going to be my answer.
Same here. I think I think you put you put those pressures on yourself. And so man or woman, if I'm 21 and I say I want to do this, this, and this, and I'm not meeting that goal, I'm gonna feel that pressure from that. And so if you want to be like get scenarios. So if a man he's say he's married or whatever, or dating or whatever the case may be, and he just lost his job, at that point that's a failing point for him. But it's no less if a woman at that age, single or even married, or does the same thing. At the end of the day, what is deemed a failure for one sex is for both. And so there's no I think it just depends on who's in your corner in general. We're talking about maturity as well. So who's in your corner as far as who's there to, help you, support you, and all these other things, and have those conversations with you. If you always hear from somebody, oh no, you a dude, you gotta do this, or you failing, what are you more than likely to believe, regardless of what is actually factual? What are you more than likely to believe? That, oh, because I'm a dude, I have to have X, Y, and Z at this point in time. And meantime, people are not even worried about that. And vice versa. Because women, we always hear by the time we hit 20, when you get married and having kids. If you're not married, if you don't have kids, blah, blah, blah. Like you hear that all 20? The time. 20? It's even younger than that. I'll be honest with you. Yes. It may not be your experience, but understand it's real. Spicy Lee can back me up on that. They start asking you questions like, when you getting married, where's your husband at, when you having kids, it's time to settle down and have a family. It's time, like, and you're like, I'm out here living my journey. I'm out here, X, Y, and Z. And so whereas this may not have been a real world situation for you, there's maybe something else that is comparable or close to for women that we have dealt with, that is a real world situation, or that people would deem failure. Spicy, I saw your hand up. Go ahead.
No, because your question is honestly general, so that's why we're giving you this response, because failure to a person is different opposed to failure society and based off society. And I feel like when you ask questions, sometimes I think you're thinking about like how will people view failure for a 21-year-old woman or man? Is that where you're going with it? Because like personally, failure is
okay. I get what you're saying. So let me be more direct. Who faces reality sooner? Like who faces the harsh realities of day-to-day life and expectations sooner? A 21-year-old man or a 21-year-old woman? So let me rephrase it as that, and then let you guys talk on that.
That's the same.
I mean, I would definitely say that like it's sort of. I mean, I'm understanding, or I'm trying to see the question from your point of view. Like, depending on who's intended to be more independent in society, men are intended, or they're I guess expected to have a level of independence sooner than women, right? Guys are supposed to build the home. They're supposed to go out, leave their parents, and build something, and then welcome a new woman into their new building, right? Women are historically, they're taken care of at home. They're under a covering before they go to someone else's covering. So historically speaking, the men is supposed to be kicked out, figure out life, fend for yourself, build your own hut, and then have a new woman come into your home and then go from there. So historically speaking, like a man is supposed to be, independent before a woman.
What you think, ladies?
That's circumstantial too, because like when I look at my mom was like 18 and she was out the house. So I think circumstances change that dynamic of what society thinks men are supposed to and what women actually have been doing, even during that time back then historically, because you still have some women who don't have that structure set up for them to even, for them to like get in that position of wanting to fail. Like they have to succeed, because the circumstances, they don't have that structure. They don't have that father figure in their life. So that changes the dynamic of everything. So sometimes that's why I say it's a person thing. Some men, it may be, some guys may view failure quicker or want to succeed quicker than women, but there are more women over the years, even back then, that have been doing it along with the men. And you have to even think about how laws have changed around that for women to even get them to that point that they want to be. So, yeah.
You got thoughts, Lucy?
I agree. Like I said, for me, it was the same question, and I was sitting here, processing and trying to understand and make sure, like, I understood, but it's still the same thing. So, what is deemed as failure? For I would say it would be equal for both. It would be equal for both.
Okay. So hey, look, YouTube, it's 3-1. So they're saying that women, as they say, it most likely will always be 3-1 when it comes to topics that I'm going to talk about. But they're saying it's 3-1 that women still mentally and emotionally mature faster than men. I think that it isn't that case anymore. And the reason why is going to be around our next topic. And that is because of the big bad enemy of the human society today, social media. All right, guys, what we're going to get into next is about social media. And it kind of ties into what we were just talking about when it comes to maturity. One of the biggest reasons why I feel like men mature faster than women is one of the main cogs that kind of allow them to stay in la la land, which is social media. Social media, in my true opinion, is a poison, as I said on social media and talk to everyone out there. I think it is a true poison to this world. What it has done, it has allowed us to get instant gratification and satisfaction at a blink of an eye. I'm not feeling good about myself today. Instead of me just dealing with my emotions and learning how to be more mentally and emotionally strong, Instagram, take a picture, post it. I got 5 likes. I got 10 likes. I got 15 likes. Hey, John is in my DMs. Oh, there goes AJ. Why is KJ in my DMs? He know I don't want his ass. Man, oh my goodness. Immediate dopamine. Dopamine shot right to the brain. And I think what this has done, it has immediately slowed down the process of women mentally and emotionally maturing. So now they're stuck in La La Land. They're going to have a bunch of people in their DMs and under their pictures lying to them and basically just giving them that self-satisfaction and self-gratification. I'm sorry, instant gratification that they desire. And it keeps them in this loop. And they really don't get out of that loop until they have a traumatic experience in life or they have circumstances in life that force them to get out of that loop. So I'm going to kick it off to AJ because me and him have had this conversation around social media. What do you think, bro?
I agree with a lot of you just said.
What?
I mean, you sort of like piggyback off everything I just said in the last conversation. Is that how social media has stifled a lot of people's development? Like I watch how my kids watch YouTube now, or like they instead of watching TV, like YouTube is the new TV. Before there was YouTube TV, they would rather just watch a YouTube channel, watch somebody else play a game, watch somebody else win at a game, and they're like, you know what, I'm that person right there. They now have associated themselves with somebody else winning the game, going through the cheat codes, whatever the case may be, and they just sit there, watch it again over and over again, and they'll do this for hours. And I'm like, what did you accomplish? What did you learn about this game? Nothing at all. You don't know how to play any of the configurations. You don't know how to put any of the combinations in to get this kind of like achievement. Even the basic achievement of beating a game, like that used to mean something back in the day. I beat this game, and especially if you put it on hard. You know, you put it on the pro level. That meant you was putting in some work. But nowadays, you can just watch somebody else and like get a certain level of gratification because you saw somebody else win the game.
Yes.
And I'm like, there's no commercials, or you get like a 20-second ad or something like that. So my kids don't even want to watch regular TV because like there's too many commercials. So it's like, again, it's a different type of gratification. Instead of it being personal, like somebody likes me, someone's like what I'm doing, I'm giving my fanfare to somebody else. And because I can hop on somebody else's coattails, now I can like ride their wave, ride their high. And I'm like, yo, come have a conversation with me. I'm like, all right, for a little bit, but then I want to get back into the game. Like I was watching this. Dad, watch this part. Watch what he does. I'm like, this is different. It's different. But again, breaking them away from social media to get back in touch with reality, dealing with emotions, dealing with like the highs and lows of real life, dealing with your own failures. Like you're probably not going to be as good as this person is in the game. So why don't you put forth your own effort first, fail, learn how to get past it, work past it, and get better. But again, you just piggybacked off my same point of social media has stifled a lot of people's growth. And on a more adult level, like now that you can monetize it, why should I do anything else? Why do I need a real job? Why do I need, I guess health care benefits and all that kind of stuff there.
Real quick, who do you feel like it's more of a detriment to? Do you feel like it's more of a detriment to young women or young men?
Both. I can't even like weigh that.
Who do you think it will hurt more at the end of the day? As someone who has a young daughter and a young son, who do you think it will hurt more? Who do you think it's going to affect? Who are you going to monitor more on social media?
All right, so I'm assuming that you're going to go into like maybe someone that's a predator, right? No? Okay.
No, I'm talking about just general usage, right? Because we all know women are much more active on social media than men, right?
No, I'm not going to agree with you on that one.
No, I'm not going to agree. Nope.
Because my kids equally, at 7 and 9 years old, they equally will look at their tablets. Like my daughter,
sit up here and say that women do not consume social media more than men.
Are you kidding me? Who is in people's
what?
Who's messaging people just as much as women put
men cast a wide net on social media? They use it as a tool to acquire more leads, but they're not on Instagram all day. They're not on Twitter all day. Twitter is dominated.
They're gaming.
Are you kidding me?
Dudes are gaming out here.
And that's social.
Gaming,
that's social
they're
media.
on those
when I say social media, I'm talking about TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter.
It's virtual reality. It's virtual reality, period.
Gaming is a form of social media. You don't be talking to
exactly.
No, it's entertainment. Gaming is entertainment.
No, it's social
media.
Not
social media. We can go in there. We can go there. We
need to, clearly.
Because
gaming is not social media. It is entertainment.
Is it because you game, KJ? Is it because you're a gamer? Is this why
I
you
would
so you
Yes,
want to
ma'am.
die on this hill? Is this the
I
hill
would
you want to
definitely die on this hill. I would definitely go there with you.
I feel like anything that requires you to have a chat or converse with people is like a social site.
Social
So
media. It's a social platform.
it's a social platform.
Exactly.
It's a social platform.
Keep
The
thinking
moment you're
about it
trying
like,
to connect with other people, the purpose is to connect with other people, right? You're connecting with other people. You're chatting in the chat rooms. You're connecting. You're like vibing with your dudes. Y'all are having this party, whatever the case may be. Y'all are taking over other people's tournaments, or whatever the case may be. Like it's a social
It's social.
presence.
Yep.
You feel a sense of connectivity. You feel a sense of accomplishment. You feel the same dopamine
People
effects
be
when you
egging
are,
you on. Yeah,
knocking
man,
some
that
ass on
was
the
the
game.
shot. Yeah, man, or whatever.
Hey, everyone who's watching this video, drop a comment below. Is video games a form of social media? I think it's a form of entertainment. It's no different than y'all coming over my
Social
crib
media
and
is
watching a movie.
entertainment.
Is it? No, but social media, you're not interacting with millions of people. I can't turn on my PlayStation and then get immediate likes or interactions with people. Yes, I can play video
Just
games and
because
play
it's not the
games
same
with people,
amount.
but it's not. So the point is, AJ, what I'm trying to get to is you have a young daughter, you have a young son, right? I'm gonna get us because I'm not gonna let myself be carried away with that. Y'all talking nonsense. You have a
We
young
say he's gonna let
son.
it flow. You say he's gonna let it flow wherever it flows.
Listen.
I mean, I'm not a gamer. I'm not a gamer, so I view video games just like social media. Like I'm not in reality.
Hot in there for
The
him.
moment I'm not dealing with reality, it's social media to me.
but
Like you can't physically.
Like when you think about men are not on social media as much as women. So I definitely hands down agree with KJ because that's a waste of time. It's not helping your growth. I know a plethora of guys, they have a social site, but they don't really use it. So I don't really see them post anything or anything like that. I agree with KJ. Men don't use social sites like that.
I'm not specifically only talking about the posting. Who are the guys that is on the comments or in the DMs or whatever the case may be? As much as they go through and liking pictures and commenting pictures and commenting on pictures, and so that's what I'm saying. I feel like it depends on if we speak strictly on posting, I would agree. Women post more on average than men do. As far as just being on social media, it's neck and neck for me.
I agree with you, Lee, on that. AJ, let me get back to number one. Do you have anything to add to that?
I was gonna say like our again, guys may not be the posters, but who's consuming a lot of it? Yeah. Like I mean, women too?
Women are consuming it. What? Why do you
women
think
and men
of media is targeted at women? Social media is targeted for women because they know that they're consumers of it.
Okay.
What name a male dominated social site? It's not even Twitch. I could have said Twitch, but Twitch is more of entertainment. But Twitch is now dominated by women, right? YouTube is starting to become a little bit more male dominant because it's the only place where men can go to voice their opinion in a safe environment where there's set rules where they can kind of have their topics. But all other social media environments, Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, they lean towards pandering and favoring women, right? So it's safer on there for them, right? And something that we'll talk about in our third topic when we're done here. I want to get back to the topic of the young man and the young woman, right? You're raising a boy and a girl. Let's say they're both at the age of 13. Whose social media are you going to watch more, AJ? Your son or your daughter?
I mean, you're asking me my opinion. I'm gonna say both. I'm gonna watch both.
So you're saying you're going to be attentive. You're going to be attentive equally for both of them.
I mean, at this point in time, right now, I might. Yeah, I would, because my son, of how much he spends his time on Roblox, right? My daughter, she's watching shows. She hasn't gotten into that whole social media phase yet, and like posting and getting those dopamine likes and getting that high from that, like getting all that social media attention. But I'm going to be less concerned of my son getting his emotional high and validation from social media. I don't see my son getting off on that, but I'm concerned with his like ability to socialize in reality.
That is true.
So for that reason, like I'm monitoring both for different reasons. Because again, women are emotionally like driven. If they're feeling sad and they feel like, okay, this person has validated me and that made me feel happy for a second, they can get addicted to that feeling. And in the same way, my son was like, you know what, it's easier to just manipulate this website here than it is to manipulate real life. So for different reasons, I'm watching both of them equally.
That's a great answer. That's a great answer. I do agree with you that a lot of issues that a lot of average, normal everyday men have is that they don't know how to hold conversations. They have zero interpersonal skills because they've been closed off to text messages, because they've been closed off to hollering at girls through Twitter and Instagram DMs. So when they meet someone face to face, they're socially awkward, right? And that's my biggest fear for my son one day is that I'm not there to help him develop to not be socially awkward. But what the topic we're talking about is just who does it affect more? Yes, I get what your point is, but he can develop that and he can grow from that. There's more damage done in the dopamine. But Spicy Lee, son and daughter, both at the age of 13, whose social media are you monitoring more?
I think when we talk about maturity, I would probably definitely be looking at my daughters more, because they get into a little bit more social sites. Even now at 13, like I'm thinking of my little sister, they have these Twitter accounts that you say, oh, you can't get those accounts, but then they hide and they go get them. So that allows them to get preyed on sooner because naturally men hunt, right? So they can get preyed from different avenues. So looking at it from that aspect and just knowing at that age, sometimes girls are a little curious. So I would monitor my daughter. But as AJ stated, even with your sons, if they're gamers, you do have to watch out for the gaming, like Roblox and stuff like that, because those platforms do have like chats, like what we were saying about your game systems. They can still talk to other people and people can act like, oh, I'm just trying to be your friend and be sneaky. So you still have to monitor both, but I would probably be more concerned about my daughter because you are grooming her to be a young lady. So I want to make sure that we're following that path of grooming you to respect yourself, right? I'm not saying that it's a slap on the wrist for my son to make those mistakes, but I would focus more on monitoring my daughter.
All right, bet. And we're going to come to you, Lacey, with the same question. Son and daughter, age 13, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. Who are you going to monitor more, your son or your daughter?
I hate to admit, but I think my daughter, mainly because of as Spicely said, the predators that are there. The predators that are there, because you never know. And it's not to say that like my son wouldn't experience it either, but just as AJ was saying, that would be more so of him understanding how to hold a conversation with men or women in real life, so, and understanding, because a lot of the problems you hear these stories about, a lady told a guy no and he killed her, and I'm like, you can't hear no, like what, and so that he understands, like, you will hear no in life, it's okay. Will it hurt at the time? Yes, maybe, depending on what capacity you're hearing no in, but understanding that it's not the end all be all, and so but I think overall probably my daughter. I'll be monitoring, making sure, I'm like, who's this that liked your picture? Unfollow him, block him, something like that. He too old, block him now.
Facts.
Hold on, I may watch my son about that. Who is this woman? We the same age. Delete her now. And I don't even, at that time, we don't know what they're gonna be using, but delete her now, block her now, whatever the case may be. But yeah, I'll have to agree. My daughter.
Yeah, and as you already know my answer, if I had a son and a daughter and they were both at the age of 13, I'm definitely going to monitor my daughter's social media more. Why? Because at number one, and I know you guys are going to probably revolt when I say this, but I'm going to make sure my daughter don't have social media until she's at least 16 to 18. I think a lot of kids,
like, not here, Lee, you can't control that.
I know you can't control that. I know you can't control that.
She's going to be rebellious of you. There's going to be a lot you're not going to know because you're already putting that wall up with her. So
yeah, you got to have that conversation.
Yeah.
Because
But
look, I look at it now, guys. Like I'm pretty sure we all have like I know people on the panel have kids, and you have little cousins and nieces and nephews. They're getting cell phones at the age of 7, so they're being indoctrinated with this dopamine at the age of 7, right? So they're it's getting into them very very fast. Like we were lucky enough not to get text messaging until we were all in high school, right? Imagine how lucky we are that we actually had to learn how to talk face to face, right? When I wanted to talk to my best friend, I couldn't text him or text her and try to talk to them. If I wanted to talk to my best friend, I had to number one either go see him face to face, or I had to pick up a landline, call, hi, yes, can I talk to so and so?
Right first.
Right?
You gotta learn to be polite.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hello,
Especially if you
hello,
call a girl.
mom.
Exactly, right? Who remembers, like, AJ, do you remember your heart beating when you were 13, 14, 15, 16, and you had to call the girl's house because they didn't have a cell phone yet, and you up there on the landline and you calling and the mama or the daddy pick up. Hi, how are you doing, Mr. Johnson? Yes, yes, yes. This is AJ. Is Jasmine available? Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're just sweating. But you have to overcome that obstacle.
Yep.
They don't have that obstacle to overcome these days. They could just text at the earliest age of 7. Kids have cell phones at 7. So now they're not developing. And in my opinion, when you get to the social media stage, which I think happens around 12 to 13, it's going to affect young women way more because as Lee and Lisi were saying, young boys, they're going to cast a wide net, right? So this is another side effect of social media. A 13-year-old boy can go on there. She's cute, like, she's cute, like, she's cute, like. None of them responded to my likes. No one said nothing to me. Hi, 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 hi. He sends out 50 highs. He don't even know who he's saying hi to, right? He's just saying hi to any girl's picture he sees. Because he just wants a response. He just wants an interaction. Right? He doesn't know who he's saying hi to. He's just saying hi. And then little old Mary says, hello. And he's like,
Mary.
gotcha, bitch. And he's like, okay, here we go. Got one. Got him.
Day one.
And then that interaction begins. And then he realized he goes and he checks out little Mary's page. He's like, oh, man, I don't even like little Mary like this, man. Ghost. Well, that guy was weird. Little Mary goes down her DM section. Well, AJ was weird. Okay, next is Johnny. Hi, Johnny. Johnny hasn't responded in 15 seconds. Hi, Adam. Hey, Adam. And then now they have multiple conversations going at once, right? Because there's always a rule of thumb between men. You have to send about 50 messages, right, before you get one response. Meanwhile, women get 50 messages and they can entertain as much as possible. So that constant dopamine is going to be going, right? It's going to be going, and that's going to start at a young age. That constant dopamine is going to start at a young age for a woman. So now she knows that feeling of immediate and instant gratification, right? That instant satisfaction. I just finished my homework. I'm bored. Let me go on Snapchat. Ooh, I got 5 new DMs. She didn't even fucking post that day. She got 5 new DMs on Snapchat. They don't learn how to just deal with themselves. And that's the issue. Young men, they have to learn. They can send 50 messages out and get 0 responses. And they have to learn how to entertain themselves. Young men learn how to entertain themselves much faster than young women. So that's why I'm saying social media is so much more detrimental to young women than it is to young men, because young men have to still put in work on social media. Meanwhile, women just take in and then they just decipher it as they please. What do you think about that, AJ?
Yo, your assumptions be like wild. Like they be wild. They just go. You just go off, and all of a sudden you got Johnny. He only got 5 likes. He had to send out 50-1 ratio. But Amy over here, I'm just wild rants. But nonetheless, my thought process on that.
So
that's the same.
That's a wild rant. There's no validity to that.
No, I'll say it is. There's some validity to it in the sense that, like, I believe social media is almost like the invention of the microwave from the oven. It just expedites every process much faster. So the guy before, he had to go to the club and he had to holler at least 10 different girls, build the confidence to talk to at least 10 different girls to get maybe 2 numbers, right? The woman, she can sit back, do absolutely nothing, and somebody's going to approach her and say, let me buy you a drink. Nope, I'm good. Let me dance with you for a second. Let me just talk to you for a second right here. Nope. Finally a yes, right? Dudes are always going to be the hunters, 9 times out of 10. Guys are going to be the hunters out here, and women are just going to be the prey that actually get to choose and be selective on who they want to give their attention to. So social media has, just expedited, like exponentially, that process, because now you can just swipe 50 different times through your DMs. Like, you already have the ability to say yes to any of these. So you're just swiping through all your DMs to say yes to whoever you want to. Guys, we have to shoot our shot a lot more times. And we're just hoping for 1 or 2, maybe. So again, I just feel like the social media is just quicken the process that's already naturally happening.
So what you're saying that then you're essentially agreeing that it is more dangerous and it's more of a dangerous tool to young women than what it is to young men.
I'm not saying I agree with that statement. I'm just saying that, like, I believe social media has just increased the flow, the traffic flow of, again, the number of interactions. The potential of interactions is exponentially higher now.
Yeah.
So I mean, either way, before it was the ego stroke for women.
Yeah, especially you spoke about having a little sister, right? And that's something that I'm pretty sure your family, her parents, what y'all thought about, as a team. It's like, we got to monitor that, because, like, as you know, there may be little boys in there, but then there also may be grown men in there, and they're gonna feed her ego. They're gonna feed that validation. They're gonna feed that attention. Can you speak on that?
I don't really know I can see how the attention for men and stuff may heighten their ego, a little bit. But I think social media as a whole, it's, the perception is reality. Like, people think like these are realistic things. Like, they get gratification out of seeing other people's lives, and they think that that's realistic. So I think for girls, that kind of shapes, even like when you think about body image, you see all the Kim K's and Megan Thee Stallion, and like everybody wants to do the same thing. And you got little girls trying to follow. I'm sorry, I have to do it. Trying to follow those traits, and I think that itself changes the dynamic for women and makes it harder for younger women to remember those morals or the values that are set forth. So it heightens it overall. The men piece is just the addition, because they're not really thinking that they're being preyed, because now it becomes a thing. It's like you start to do what everybody else does, and you're getting this attention. You're like, oh, I'm doing the right thing because this is what I see,
Exactly.
And that's the part that's scary for young girls, is because what are we feeding their minds? Because now we're taking them away from their education. Now we're taking them away from trying to be quote unquote ladylike, and then we're raising, and I don't want to say it this way, but some women, some younger ladies are being raised with the wrong images, and that's why dating dynamics have changed. That's why people can't cope properly. That's why we have more social media as far as like bullying, because you got all these young girls on these sites, and you got people doing all types of crazy things, and none of that stuff is realistic. Because at the end of the day, if you go to that person, they don't look like shit without makeup. I'm just gonna put it out there. That's why I don't wear it, because makeup. I think back in the day probably was just designed. Maybe if you're an actor or a model, you're trying to hide some blemishes, but now people wear it as like their full face. So when you wipe that off, you're like, who the hell are you? It's like night and day. It's not the same thing. I can say that from personal experience, because I used to like fill in my eyebrows and do a lot of stuff to my face. And my cousin, one day, I wasn't wearing anything, and she was like, oh my gosh, Lena, like, you look so different. And I was like, did she just say like I look different? And that made me have this complex with makeup that I wanted to embrace more so natural beauty. So social media is just like it's a tool and it's like a game because either you're pulling people one way to either embrace natural beauty or you're pulling them another way to want to wear makeup. So I just feel like it's whatever society wants to put, they just sprinkle it in social media and they're like, go. Who's going to entertain it?
I agree with you. That was such an amazing response. And you touched on something that, is really important that we don't really talk about is the internal battle that social media puts on young women when they're comparing themselves to each other, right? Because women work off a hierarchy, right? They work off a hierarchy. I know you may disagree with me on this, but this is how things work. So a 16-year-old girl is going to compare herself to her 16-year-old friends, right? So if she sees if Cassie sees Jessica with a developed chest, right, or a developed bottom, and she's like pulling these camera chicks, and she's stuffing her bra and she's stuffing her pants, and she's making it seem like that she got all these developments and features. Now she's feeling less adequate about herself. Now she's becoming depressed because she's like, damn, I can't keep up with Jessica. Look at Jessica. Oh my God, look at her lips. Look at her hair. Look at her body. Look at me. I can't keep up with that. How am I supposed to compete with her? Look at all the likes. She posted this picture and she got 1,000 likes. I post this picture. I got 15. What is wrong with me? It's like a mental.
But all this has been happening for years though. Like this was happening in middle school. This was happening in high school before social media. Like I remember grade
school. Go to school to experience that though, AJ.
That's you got to escape. You got to escape from it for a bit. Right? You got to school the next day.
Exactly.
You made fun of the girls that stuffed their bras with like tissue paper too. Like
social media is a more public platform though. That's the difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Social media makes everything a way more public platform. So that little bully that you had in school, you got like 1,000 of them.
Yeah, everybody got an opinion.
It effect of everything. So,
like let's say Lisa was at school, right? And she was walking and she slipped on a banana peel, fell, bust her butt, right? In 1999, they'll probably clown her to about 2:15. Then at 2:15, she get on that bus, she go home. It's gone, right? People are gonna forget about it. Now, 2019, Lacey slips on that banana peel, busts her ass. Here go AJ with the camera out. Oh, Lacey bust her ass. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. Lacey, her phone is just binging. Bing, 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 bing. 50,000 views. 50,000 people just see me bust my ass. Oh my God. She's getting bullied at home. She's getting tortured at home. And it's more prevalent to young women than it is to young men, right? If you post a video of me busting my ass, a young boy is much less likely to allow that to affect him than a young woman would, right? I'll probably laugh with you at 16. But a 16
I beg to disagree. I just actually found out that we have more male suicides. Simply because men will hold that in. So you'll laugh with the crowd, but then you'll go home and be like, dang, why somebody had to catch me slipping on that, what do you say, banana peel? And so I think that, I'm always like solution oriented. I think the biggest thing is to, as parents and as, persons who are in these, younger, or even somebody else's life, you see, because I guess maturity as far as social media doesn't have an age. But so as we're, our children, our siblings, our cousins, whoever that we see that may be going down the, a path or, a certain thing, we should definitely have that open communication. And especially from our younger girls and boys, we should be instilling, values in them and let them know that this is not the end all be all. A year later, somebody else, not even a year later, the way social media work, one week, 1 week, this, next week is this, like. And so it's instilling in them those values for themselves, like, not making them pompous or anything like that, but let them know, like, hey, you are okay. You are on a journey and, whatever else you need to tell them to encourage them and lift them up. Because from for both sides, it's a beast. It's just so happens that more times than not, women will showcase it, and of course, get additional support, and men will hold it in, and unfortunately, it leads to self harm or death. And I don't think on the men aspect is talked about a lot because why, as you were saying earlier, AJ, um, men, boys from a young age are always told, no, don't cry, boys don't cry. I got tear ducts, I can cry, like I was made, like, so the thing is that you are capable of that, but they weren't allowed to express themselves. And I mean, sometimes, when you anger and you try to hold that in, can you imagine holding that in for years on hand? And then, and here we are today, and that's why you have more male suicides than women suicides. But I think in general it's a detriment on both sides. It can be a detriment on both sides, and that's where the education piece comes in to know. All right, I put, like, for me personally, I'm not really on social media. I have profiles and stuff like that, but I don't sit on them all day. Simply because you have to have some type of peace of mind. Like, step away, like it. And then I realized I was wasting time. Like, there's so many other things you could be doing, like, to better yourself.
I just did it there.
Yeah.
I said tuh. I said tuh.
I heard
Tuh.
you. So there's so many other things you could be doing. Go out and smell the roses. Go out and, I don't know, catch a bike ride. Go for a walk. Catch, if you old enough, drinks with a friend. There's so many other things that you can be doing, and once you, like, step outside of it, you'll understand it's not the end all be all at all. Like, is it a great platform? I think it's great. The problem is when it's misused, or when it's used for that emotional, like you said, KJ, that emotional attachment, or what did you say? The dopamine. What did you say? Yeah, dopamine. There you go.
The instant gratification.
Yeah, and that's the problem. But I mean, we saw it, younger. We had, what was it? MySpace.
Yeah.
And Black Planet.
Yeah, Black Planet. Oh, man.
I may be dating myself here, but
Hey.
so it kind of started during that. It started with us. I think we just had a better handle on it because it wasn't always there, and it wasn't as efficient as it is now. So,
and I'll take that even further back for all the DMV people in the chat and for all the DMV people watching. Who remember the DC hotline in the 90s? Oh man, we used to call a little hotline in the 90s to talk to people. Come on, y'all comment below if you remember the DC hotline, right?
You talking about the 1-900 numbers?
Y'all remember the DC hotline? Come on, you know what I'm talking
about.
You remember,
AJ? Don't try to lie.
No, I don't know the DC hotline. I remember, like, late night phone calls. You can call certain numbers and talk to some strangers.
Yes, that was the DC hotline.
Who was all calling at the late night?
That was the 1-900 numbers.
Hey, listen, me and my homeboys used to be on that train at like 10 o'clock, just randomly talking to people. And you could talk during the day too, but it was the DC hotline. That's what it was called when I was like 11, 12, or 13.
I don't remember the DC hotline. I remember, like, them sexy voices coming on, talking like, yo, talk. That's what I remember. I don't remember the DC hotline. We was talking like,
and you would connect,
right?
90s, like,
yeah, you would connect
when we was watching TV.
So after a certain hour on the hotline. Y'all don't remember that?
How old were you?
I just said like 11, 12.
Prime
like,
example of you got to watch the girls and the guys. Okay, you got to watch what the boys and the girls.
That was considered the PG-13 R-rated stuff that you can watch on a regular TV because my parents took off cable. So it's like they started streaming that stuff after like 10 o'clock at night. You start seeing these little lingerie commercials. It was like, call for the hot, sexy chat conversations with a hot singles hangout. That's what I'm thinking you're talking about. He said the DC hotline.
No, I'm talking about the DC hotline. We're gonna read the comments after we post this. Once this is posted, you're gonna see everybody coming in and talk. But yeah, I remember KJ, the DC hotline. Yeah, I used to be on that thing. And then late 90s, early 2000s, the DC hotline. Yeah, they gonna remember that.
Look, I was about to look it up. I'm afraid to look it up though. I don't want no. What'd you say? Lingerie.
It was just a hotline where you would leave an intro. You would leave an intro message, and then you would send messages to people, and then they would either accept to connect with you, and then they would connect to you, and you would talk to the person. But still,
was that the old school dating? What was that?
It was funny. It was funny when I was a kid, and it's funny. AJ mentioned cable. I remember. Yeah, I was like 11, 12, 13. But
it was on the date phone line.
I mean, I wasn't making no phone calls.
Hey,
I made a couple just to hear what it sounded like.
I was gonna say, how you know how they voice sound?
Hey, do you remember the A and B side?
So when you talk to your microphone, Lacey, that's what it reminded me of. Like, get up on the microphone and say something real quick.
How you gonna put me on like that?
Say something. Say something for the people right quick. Say something for the people.
I have no idea what you're speaking of.
There you go. No matter what you say, it's just the fact that you're saying it on the microphone like that. That's what Spicely, you know what I'm talking about, right? Spicely, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Well, she gonna ride for her, girl. She gonna ride for her, girl. She gonna ride for her, girl. It's all right.
Appreciate you.
I plead the fifth. I don't know nothing.
Hey AJ, remember real quick. You remember back in the day, the A and B side of cable at the 10 o'clock that HBO Showtime? What? You know
all that, man.
And he said we're gonna watch out for the girls. Look at the guys.
That's the
and then they had the girls going wild. Right? I mean, all the little stuff.
No, I was
too hot for TV. Too hot for TV.
How upset would you be?
Not on TV though.
Huh?
The girls going, I've seen those little ads after late at night. I know what you're talking about.
The girls gone wild and all that.
Thank you. That's what I'm talking about.
I just the TV hotline thing. I don't know anything about that, but the other stuff.
and then the next right was like the little Jamaican
call me now.
Call me now.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I heard. Hey, we got some Jamaican ladies on here. I heard your grandmas and aunties. Your grandmas and aunties used to spend thousands or hundreds of dollars on them hotlines. Is that true over there talking to Miss Cleo? You ain't your mama talk to Miss Cleo.
No, we didn't do that.
Who called Miss Cleo before?
Who called Miss Cleo?
Nobody. Are you kidding me? I ain't calling nothing up against me. Absolutely not.
Call me now.
No,
I can imagine little 12-year-old Lacey. Miss Cleo, does the boy at my school like me?
What do we call it? Obia. I was too afraid of any Obia or anything like that. Yeah. I didn't do any of that.
All right, y'all. We're about to transition into the last topic that is just going to keep this train moving along the effects of maturity and social media and how social media is integrated in our lives and affect our ability to grow emotionally and mentally. We talked a little bit about online dating. Yes, I'm going to get in there. The most ratchet, disgusting place on earth. You
said disgusting?
I fucking hate online. I fucking hate online dating. We've all tried it.
How you really feel?
I hate it. I think it's the most.
It can be disgusting if you want it to be.
I think it's the biggest cesspool ever created, and it is fucked up dating forever. Do you feel like online dating has created unrealistic expectations for men and women, and how so? So I'm gonna start this off. Mm-hmm. Online dating has created a unrealistic expectation for men and women, both. And here's why. For men, what it has done is if you're a decent looking dude and you know how to play that social media game, you gain access to a whole lot of women, right? There's a lot of good average dudes who aren't savvy, don't know how to take the right pictures, don't know how to, do the right lighting, right? Don't know how to dress in a cool way, right? All those things matter on online dating. They may be great, perfect guys who will be great husbands and fathers one day, but they don't have the swag. They don't have the gear. They don't have the mouthpiece, right? Through text, right? Because I always tell you guys this, I am much more better in person than I am in text. Because texting gives me too much time to think. And when I have too much time to think, I fuck up. So that's why I prefer, whenever I meet a young lady, I want to talk to her on the phone. When I meet a woman, I want to talk to her on the phone. I don't want to talk over text. That is something that irritates me so much. How many times have I been talking to each one of you guys individually? We start texting and I just randomly fucking call you. All the time, right? That's something I do because I don't like text. I'm like, why the fuck are we texting? This is going to take about 45 minutes in text. Or we can talk for 10 minutes on the phone and get it over with, right? That's just the way my mind works. But it affects men because it doesn't allow them to develop, but then it affects women on the opposite side because it gives them an unrealistic expectation of what their true options are, right? Because a woman who's an average woman will have above average men and below average men, a dude who's from a 1 from a dude who's a 10 in her inbox. And obviously, she's going to always choose the highest available option. And this creates an unrealistic standard and reality in her mind. It's like the reality stone with Thanos. I can make reality whatever I want to be. And he snaps his finger, and you just see this big old beautiful land with butterflies and deer running around and stuff. So this is what happens for online dating for women. A woman can sign up on online dating right now, post 6 pictures, and that reality stone is going to turn on. Boom. What do you want reality to be? It can be whatever you want it to be. And then the goddamn whole world just starts changes before our eyes. But maybe I'm just fucking crazy. What do you guys think? Who wants to go first?
What's the question again?
I'm done.
Does online dating create unrealistic standards and expectations?
Okay, I was thinking about the pastures and the deers hopping around on the Thanos reality stone. So I got lost in the sauce there. I mean, we definitely know that it does, because I mean, they have different shows like The Circle of people putting on catfishes. They have people pretending to be one way when they're really like this in reality. People have time to think about who they want their representative to be, and online dating just like is perfect for that. So like now social media, or not social media, but a lot of dating sites are trying to make it more realistic. Like, all right, verify your photo, give you 90 seconds of a video, a short video of you doing something, show that you're real. Like, all right, give your opinion on something right here. So it's like not just your face any longer, or some photo that you just photoshopped off of somebody else's face and made your own profile. They're still trying to improve its realistic expectations. So, like, I mean, it levels the playing field so that people can play whatever game that they want to. But now they're trying to like draw it back to more reality, more authentic reactions, or more authentic interactions.
But when I'm speaking about unrealistic expectations, what I'm talking about, AJ, is that they have a number of choices that they wouldn't get face to face, right? So let's, for just comparison's sakes, ladies, don't kill me. Let's say a girl's a 5, AJ. A girl who's a 5 on a social media site is gonna get dudes who are 10s DMing her, right? And what that does is it creates a new narrative in her mind, because now she's getting these men who would never approach her in real life. Well, they probably would. She's getting these men who wouldn't, take her seriously in the way that she wants it to be taken serious. Because what I notice and hear a lot about online dating is that a lot of women are looking for serious commitments and serious relationships, right? Most women are using online dating for commitment and relationship. Very few women are just using it to hook up, right? And, while men are majority using online dating to hook up. But what tends to happen is they get courted by men who are these 8, 9s, and 10s, and they're 5. They court them, they wine, they dine them, they pump and dump. But now that standard has been set. Once she ate at Nobu, she can't go back to Benihana's. Or once she ate at Benihana's, she can't go back to Kobe's Japanese hibachi. Once she's had that fine, she can't go back to mediocre, right? You can't take Kylie Jenner from her mansion and put her in a 4-bedroom house that we would all love to have and expect her to be satisfied. She'd be sick. And that's the point I'm trying to make. What do you think on that?
I mean, the only thing that clicked for me is what you're saying about unrealistic expectations. Honestly, just from personal experience, some of the social apps are really just a way to have casual sex. So I think when you think of it that way, that's why you're saying the expectations are unrealistic, because a man don't really want a 5. I mean, she's just available. So if you just want casual sex, if that's what you're using the app for, that's why you're saying unrealistic expectations, because now that you're getting this guy that you think wants to groom you for a relationship, because that's what you say you want, they don't really want that. And vice versa, women or men. So I think it's just how people are, it's not the app, because that's not the intention. So as AJ is saying, they're doing the best to kind of verify people so they don't get catfished, to make sure that these pages are authentic, but still we have people using the apps for the wrong purpose. So because they're using it for the wrong reasons, that's why we have these unrealistic expectations. That's what you're basically, in my opinion, I think this is where you're getting at with the conversation. Am I right? I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're definitely on point.
Okay.
Like the point, yeah, you're definitely on point with that. What do you think, AJ?
I mean, in the sense that like social media does provide unrealistic expectations or sets people up for unrealistic expectations. I get what you're saying. As much as you try to put your real self out there, people don't want to see the real self. That's not going to be, I guess, get more than likely it's not going to get you the success that you're looking for. You have to play the game in order to get the results that you're hoping for, because everybody wants to be liked. Everyone wants to have the options available to make their best selection. So what's going to increase the probability of me getting the most selections? I have to put the best pictures out there. I have to put the best lighting out there. I have to say the catchiest thing. I have to show the best versions of myself, my, financial literacy. I have to show my potential, my job, all those kind of things here, my cars and all this kind of stuff here. And like, but at the end of the day, I may have a bummy personality. And as long as that doesn't show first, then cool. I can at least get my pick of the options and get past first, second interactions before like the real me starts coming out. So does that set unrealistic expectations? It's like more so what you put out there, you can basically build whatever you want. And that's going to work for men. It's going to work for women too. But I mean, again,
But I think that's more on men, because a woman can literally post 3 face shots in a body picture and put ... and she's still going to get messages.
Facts.
Yeah, man, that's true.
Yeah, like men have to put more effort into online dating than what women do. Women basically just have to show up, and that's where I feel like the unrealistic expectation is getting made, because now
that was before social media though. That was well before social media. As you said before, like women at 18 have value. That's what you said, right?
Yes, I did.
Well, I feel like all has value, but why is it like that though? Can we delve deeper into that? Why is it that a woman only has to put one photo and a guy feels like he has to do that? Because it wouldn't continue to happen if there wasn't a reason.
The reason why is because men have zero dick discipline. Men have zero dick discipline. And one thing
I resent that statement, sir. I resent that statement. Hell no. I refuse to accept this blanket statement. No. Some men.
For once you agree with me,
Jordan. Sorry,
you can go.
All right.
How dare you? How dare you?
You don't want the cat out the bag. You trying to save these men, but we not saving them, okay?
No.
We got to
save these men.
So go ahead.
Hey, fellas,
there are men that have big discipline.
No, he's saying
sit down, fellas,
it's not all.
Remember,
it's not all. Remember, it's not all.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Not all. Don't put that all in there. There are some
98.9% of men have zero dick discipline.
Thank you. I'll take that. Those don't say 100% across the board.
On the dating apps, I agree with you. Well,
Zero.
No, I agree with you in general. Sorry.
Yeah, in general.
On social media platforms, I can agree with you. Well, no. Okay, never mind.
Men don't know how to hold their value. One thing I can give women credit for, they know how to project and hold their fucking standards and values. If a girl says, I want this and I ain't fucking moving off this, she is not fucking moving off it, and you better meet her ass there, right? And you better be higher, because she says, I'm here, but I'm going to need you to be here, right? Women are really good at that. Women know how to set expectations and hold motherfuckers to that expectation. Men, we will take any fucking thing.
Do you know why?
Huh? Why?
The reason why is because women have the plethora of options available to them. When you're so used to being
why
fed,
do they have so many options though? Whose fault?
When you're so used to being fed, you can be selective.
There are more women than men, though. So the thing is that
you know why we're like that is because we know now big discipline. So the point, what are we? You have to show yourself beyond what's down here for women to even want to take any steps further with you now. Mm-hmm. Like social media and all that stuff is making it harder. It's going to make it harder for men because women now, we see that you're hunting. So every time we see that you're hunting, we're backing away. I mean, I know I am. I would hope that other women would see the same thing too. I'm just saying.
I agree with you, and that's where I'm talking about dick discipline. Like AJ, you asked why? Because women have a plethora of options. They have those options because we will fuck anything. We will stick our dick in anything, and this is the biggest issue, right? You have men who have value that of an 8, right? You have a man who's at an 8 value having sex with a woman who's at a 3 value, right? So if she knows, hey, I can have this dude who's an 8 take me to Fogo de Chao and blow my back out, and then maybe a month later he moves on to the next conquest. She's not going to sit there and say, that was just a fling. No, her value has been skyrocketed. You know, as DJ Khaled used to say, my price went up, her price just went up. That dude who was an 8, who smashed that 3, has now turned that 3 into a fucking 6. So the next guy she's going to talk to better be a fucking 6, right? And then guess what? She can hold out, and that dude who's a 6 is going to come around and meet her asking price. Women's asking price is always being met by us because we don't hold our value and we don't practice dick discipline. And that's why the dating game is fucked up. What do you think on that?
All right.
Because
ladies, you are actually agreeing with me on this one, huh?
you have to think about like where you both, since you guys are men, KJ and AJ, where you are now in your life, would you say that you are developing or have developed dick discipline? Because age does play a role into dick discipline, right? So we've touched on this earlier.
Also
like been there, done that. You've already, huh?
I said also experiences, because sometimes age don't mean anything, but I think the experiences and your maturity level, regardless of age.
So I was kind of curious to see where you guys are with that.
At this point in my life, you know, I'm 30. I'm looking for a family, and you know, I did what I needed to do sexual wise. You know, sex is, and this is going to sound weird, but sex is not the most important thing to me right now. It's really about, can we agree on certain things? Do you understand where I want this ship to go? And are you gonna be my co-captain, right, on this ship? Like, do you see my vision? Do you see my plan? Do you see where I want this ship to go? And are you going to support me in every way possible to make sure the ship stays on course and it meets its destination? That's where my mind frame is right now. You know, sex, and this is where a lot of young men and men in general, because there's men who think like this in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, who are stuck on just chasing tail. Chasing tail, I'll leave that to the 16 to 25-year-old men, right? But after 25 men, you need to stop chasing tail. You need to be focused on your grind. You need to be focused on your purpose, right? You need to be focused on your purpose. If you are on your purpose, women will follow behind you, right? A woman, what is the number one thing that Lisi and Lee always tell us, AJ? They want a man with ambition. Ambition. The key word, the key cog to the machine. Ambition.
we listen sometimes, a little bit.
Yeah. Ambition is the number one thing they always talk about. And this is what young men don't understand. A dude who's 22, who has looks, who has swag, he can smash. He can smash all the young women he wants. But once that dude with swag meets a girl who's like 32, she'll smash a couple times. Then you're like, all right, nigga, what else can you do? I got swag. I got game. I got this. All right, well, where are we going? What are we doing tonight? I don't want to sit in your grandma's house, smoke weed, and fuck anymore. That was cool the first couple times, but are we going to go somewhere nice? What are you doing with your life? What's going on? That's what starts to happen, right? So men, we can't get away with that all the time. And this and this is the thing that a lot of
you got cougars that want a guy to just do that.
Yeah, maybe women who are like in their late 40s, early 50s who are divorced and like they just want their back blown out and they're already financially secure. But now a young woman, a woman who's in her 30s, she's looking for a man on his purpose, who has ambition and who has direction. Someone she can come up under and push forward, right? Like, okay, you said you're going here. All right, What do you need to get there? Because I'm gonna come along for this ride too, and we're gonna get there together. There's a saying that I know the ladies might not agree with me, is that women don't run the race with men. They wait for the winners at the fucking finish line. And men need to be focused on passing that finish line, and so that way they can get the pick of the litter of the women that they want. But we're so focused on chasing tail that we never get to the finish line. What do you think on that, ladies?
I was trying to hold my laughing.
I'm working my mind around this analogy you just threw out there.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was like. What?
Right.
Because it kind of counteracted what you just said, or contradicted what you just said. So you
It doesn't.
just said,
Think about it though. Think about it though. You're not looking to run the race with the dude. You're not looking to, all right, on your mark, set, go, and you're just sitting there running with him. All right, dude, come on, get your shit together, man. Yeah, all right, man, you need to get this business plan going. Okay, what you doing, man? Okay, man, don't buy them Jordans. You better put that in your Robinhood account. All right, come on, let's go. No, women are not looking to do that. They're looking at this finish line. Is that AJ coming around? I think that nigga might make it. Yeah. Okay. I think KJ.
Yeah, but that contradicts what you had just said though, because you just said a woman who will help, help him realize his goal.
You're waiting for. He has to bring purpose. He has to bring purpose and value.
But that changes over time though. The whole idea with saying that you want somebody who's ambitious or who has a drive is that you also understand that may change over time. So they may start in one field or one career thing. And then after a while they say, you know what, babe, I think I'm going more towards this. And you right there like, yeah, okay, let's flesh it out. Let's, discuss all the topics, the pros and cons and blah, 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 and move on here. That's different from saying, oh, they have to have everything absolutely together by the time they meet, because that's what that sounds like. So that's what
I'm not saying that they have to have everything together, but they have to be. Women want winners, right? They're not looking. They want to see proof of concept, right? That's the number one thing that we talk about in the business world, right? If you want to start a business and you want a business to flourish, we have to see proof of concept, right? So women want to see proof of concept. They want to see that this is a winning dude. They're not looking to see, okay, he has the ambition to eventually become a winner. They want to see that he is winning and he is going to be, they want to see Mark Zuckerberg at $1 million Mark Zuckerberg become $1 billion Mark Zuckerberg. They don't want to see Mark Zuckerberg in college in the fucking dorm room putting the fucking plan together. They'll meet him at the millionaire version, but they're not meeting him at college. You get what I'm saying, AJ? What are your thoughts?
I'm picking up what you're putting down, bro. I think at the end of the day, women want guys that have dick discipline, and guys want women that we can be confident in their level of commitment to us, the individual, and not our resources of what we bring to the table. It's like, yo, hold me down, whether I'm up or down, and we can like push through whatever. Because when I have that level of confidence in you, then you can rock with me. Because you're gonna rock with me whether I'm high or I'm low. Like you're rocking with me, you're choosing to rock with me. So I think that's where the meeting of the minds. Where I think if that was put out on social media, if that was like able to be measured, like this is my level of dick discipline, I could be committed to you. I can be committed to this, woman right here. I'm choosing to focus on you. I'm not casting my wide net. I'm focusing here. And a dude puts his guard down. Is like, you know what? I'm choosing to invest, or the woman is like, I'm putting my guard down. I'm choosing to invest with you, the individual, because you're treating me this kind of way here. I believe that you, the individual, can like achieve certain things. And there may be some times that we're higher than others. There may be times we're on the lows. Like you may lose your job. You may start that business, make $1 million, and then we may lose $1 million. But I'm trusting you, the individual, that we can redo this again over and over again. If we can like peel back those layers, then like society, I think, will be far different.
That's a $1 billion idea right there. Shit. Go ahead, Lee.
No, I mean, I agree with him. I mean, at the end of the day, I think with every time you reference Lisa and I, you always talk about money, and we don't really monetize men. It's kind of what AJ was just saying. It's about the mindset. It's not about the money. So it's not that it's not that you have to have $1 billion, but do you have $1 billion dream? And that's a stretch, but we just want, and like we want that mindset. Because and we talked about this before anyway, when you're submissive to your man at some point, you have to know that this person is going to be able to take that lead. I'm sorry, a man with no ambition cannot take that lead in front of me. It ain't going to work. because where are you leading us?
But that's my point, though. You want a dude on the path to $1 million, right? He may not be at $1 million. He may be at 100K, but you're not going to date him at 15, right? You're not 15,000. You're not going
It
to
just
date.
depends on where you meet him. What if we're younger?
Hold up. You're not going to date the ambitious painter who's making 15K and has the ambition and drive to get to 100K, and then have the ambitions and drive to get to $1 million. You're gonna be like, nigga, talk to me. You're gonna say, nigga, talk to me at 100K.
Little realistic, because what girl honestly is just meeting a billionaire right off the street and gonna get together? That is not realistic.
I agree with you on that, but what woman is gonna meet a man at 15,000?
They do all the time. Like, say somebody, like you said, 18, they should be getting married. If they're 18, they may not be making whatever you said, $1 billion off bat. They growing together. Yeah, they growing together.
Go ahead.
The whole premise of this conversation, though, was like social media, online dating. So how are you deciphering all of this information through online dating and social media? Well, no one's putting out their real net worth.
I mean, well, I'm not on online
like dating. It's so easy to put a bottle like, yo, we popping bottles tonight.
Y'all analogies and props and all these other things.
Right? It's like, yo, who can pop a bottle with me? And I only got $20 in my account. I didn't buy the bottle. That was a gift. Yeah. But I'm going to post it online. Girls like, oh, he got money. Girls, let's go get some shots.
No.
And I'm going to ball out for the night.
Stop it. Stop.
I'm going to ball out.
What age group are we talking about?
Shit. I know women in their 30s that do that. What are you talking about? Go ahead.
Tell me you won't take a free shot. Tell me you won't take a free shot.
From some random at this age, from some random dude, absolutely not.
Listen, his story is still on. A few years ago for AJ's birthday, we went to a club, right? And we got a section. And he knows what I'm about to talk about. When I tell you, as soon as the bottles came to the section, they came like fucking vultures. I stood up from the couch. I look around. It's 4 girls sitting on the couch. I'm looking like, who are you? My feet hurt. I'm here. And the other one's just smiling and dancing on the couch. I said, oh, nah. If y'all going to stay in the section, y'all need to be shaking some ass in the section. I mean, you're not about to just sit here and sip on our Henny for free and sit on our couch because your feet hurt. And they just started dancing in the chair. I said, you going to get up and start dancing?
I was too lit, so I don't really care.
Huh?
I was too lit, so I don't really care.
Yeah. So they're like, no. So they're just sitting there. I look at the security guard. I said,
I had zero dick
out of here, man. Get him up out of here. And they're just like, oh, you gonna kick us out the section? You don't want no women in your section? Oh, that's weird. You're weird. I said, no, you're not about to sit up here and sit on my fucking couch and drink our liquor and think you just gonna sit here and I'm not even getting no fucking show out of this. You're not shaking no ass. I'm not seeing nothing. You just gonna sit in our section and then you could just sit here and drink and rest for free? No. Get up out of here. I kicked them all out, dog. I mean, I was kicking girls out the section left and fucking right. No fucking freebies. If you want a shot, you're going to have to dance. So the girls who started coming in the section dancing, I passed those shots because they were dancing, they were vibing. I ain't say you got to shake your ass on me, but you got to at least dance in the area, like participate, right? And you know that's my whole point. Is that they, like AJ was saying, they want to see the value, they want to see it, and they're going to come. That's the thing. They come when they see the value, figuratively and literally, right? So that's why I say that women aren't looking for that $15,000 artist who's starting off, who has the ambition, and who's going to eventually become $1 million artist. They want to get him at $100,000 artist because then now they see proof of concept. What do you think on that, ladies? Do you kind of understand what I'm saying more now?
We always do this. No, I definitely understand what you're saying. I think it's also I think it's also like the person that it attracts, right? So if you like the people that you felt like you had to kick out of the section, that's not people you wanted anyway. So like it's you now you've done what I don't know.
Eliminate some people?
Yeah, you eliminated some people that you wouldn't even talk. Like that's how I kind of look at it. Like, I mean, I don't know, Lee, if you want to go ahead.
No. I mean, you're right about that. I mean, you did yourself a favor by kicking them out. But when I look at that too, I think you're painting this picture of yourself, right? and for these ladies when they see the bottle. But at the end of the day, like, what's getting in your way? Like, what's so bothersome about women coming? Because is this like your ego getting in the way?
You're
Like,
not about to.
what did
That's
that do to
me.
you? But what was it?
Oh,
I'm just trying to figure out what they didn't do at that moment. Because you just sound like you needed something. I don't know. I don't get it. Because if
It's
someone's trying
leeching.
to
It's the principle.
huh?
It's
I'm at a loss.
leeching. How would you feel if you and your homegirl paid $1,000 for a section and then some random niggas came over there and sat on your couch and started pouring themselves drinks? You would look at you would fucking flip.
Wait, they picked up the bottle and started pouring drinks?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yes.
That's very
At the end
bossy.
of the night, we had like some Hennessy left in the bottle. One of the girls picked it up and walked away with it.
Oh wow,
Okay,
that's
no,
very
that's
bossy. I ain't never. Wow, I've never. Wow.
it's
Wow.
disrespectful.
Yeah, that
It happens
is.
all the time. At
I didn't
clubs.
realize that's what I thought they were like asking, like, "Hey, can we get
I
some
thought-
shots?" But wow,
No, they would literally come and sit on the couch and not even and just look at you like you're fucking stupid. They would
Oh.
literally come and sit on your couch and look at you like you're fucking stupid. Like, nigga, what? What you gonna do? I'm a girl. You gonna move me?
I can't relate to that. I've never. I can't.
Yeah,
say-
I get where you're coming from.
now I get what you're saying. It make you ain't get the look. What's it they call the devil's in the details? You didn't explain. Now
I mean,
understand. It makes sense.
some girls, again, it may have worked with the ballers out there in the past. Again, as you were saying before, Jordan, KJ, my bad. That like they may have approached some other dudes that had like 16 bottles, right? They allowed me in their section. So it worked before. Why can't I do it again
But
with this section?
Actually, go in
Clear-
somebody else's section and pick up a bottle and start pouring.
Yeah.
I ain't never.
Clearly, that wasn't the first time.
Exactly.
I was too lit, so I don't really remember all the details,
But
right?
you were in a perception for them that you were balling or something, because you have
That is true.
people
That
think,
is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're painting
But
a picture. So they're well, why would they mind? You know, we're cute looking, we're good looking girls. You know, that good time type of mentality.
I'm done.
So I'm not trying to
Not
think
AJ
about women.
I didn't say that out loud. I didn't confirm what you thought you looked like. Just like a woman can't assume that just because she's dressed a certain kind of way that I'm gonna give you certain kind of attention. Like, oh, you're dressed like this. Let me approach you like this. Is that
well,
is
that's
that
the cognitive dissonance we always talk about.
But it's men in VIP getting bottles and stuff. It's kind of like if it's just all guys, you're still trying to invite women at the end of the day. Are you not? Because you want to
Yes.
sit there with all.
I could be
women
balling
all
my
night.
dudes?
No,
I can be balling my
I'll
dude.
give her that. She has a point, but
Yeah.
we don't want to for you. We don't want to
you're
invite
right.
you. We don't want to invite you for you to come, sit down for about 10 minutes to rest your feet, take a couple shots, say thank you, and then fucking leave. No, that's not what we want.
We're not about that bounce action.
And
But-
a
but
lot of
I'm
women
just saying-
finesse like that.
I mean,
Have you ever finessed like that?
I'm not saying that they don't.
Nah, not my friends.
Yeah, have you ever
my friends
finessed
don't
like
do
that?
No, I've always been
Are you talking
invited
to me?
invited into the thing. I've never just gone up to somebody's table and
Yeah, I'm actually. You also have Lee. Have you ever like finesse like that before?
No, I haven't done that. I've like Lisa, I asked to go into VIP. I don't have to do that. I'm sorry.
yeah, I've
I
been.
wanna say
That's
like
what I
that,
said.
but
I can't. That's what I said. I
don't
can't
have to.
relate. I was asked to come into the section. Like I don't.
The friends that we hang out with are a little bit more mature, so this
Yeah, I
this
was
is for
gonna say.
mature audiences only.
I
But
can't relate.
there's clearly many more immature audiences that will again cut lines, that will like
Yeah.
just bombard whatever, feel like they're entitled to do that because they're young and cute enough to be able to get away with it. Like,
Just
okay,
said, as
all
you
right.
guys said, somebody allowed it somewhere. Which is why they thought it was okay. Like
Exactly.
because I couldn't imagine like that. First off, that's rude. Like no, ma'am. Who's your mama? Who's your daddy? Because they ain't do you right.
Yeah,
Go back
club
to
etiquette.
again.
That's a whole nother conversation right there.
That's
Club
etiquette
etiquette is
in
different.
general. You're not now.
That's a good topic, right? Honestly.
That show is.
How has
That show.
Well, what is
Again,
it?
that's not even social media now. We're not even talking about social media at this point. This is like just regular club etiquette. This is like 80s, 90s.
But that's why I said solution. It stems from what you learn at home because ain't no way that what that's not like that's rude in general. Like you're not gonna go up to somebody else's place and just grab up their drink. Like what? Who are you? I don't even know you. That's rude. And I mean, to be honest, depending on where they at, they lucky that y'all were cool. People be fighting women. Men be fighting women nowadays, and they clearly. I mean, not I don't condone it. But they clearly. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they was drunk and didn't think of that, but. Mm-mm.
Oh, let me tell you a quick story. Quick story. I was out this past weekend, right? I told you about the little Afro Soca Love Fest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I was standing in line, minding my business. There was two girls directly in front of me. Directly in front of me. We're all waiting in line to go inside the spot. They were both definitely like post pregame. Pregame like real hard, right? So one is talking to the other. The one turns around like halfway and looks in my direction. Turns back around, looks a second time, says hi. I was like, oh, what's up? The friend that had no interaction, didn't turn around, not once whatsoever, was like, we don't talk to strangers. You don't know him like that. I'm like, this is why I don't go out talking to nobody. Women just have this audacity to be basic looking, to be looking basic, and just to feel like I'm looking out for my friend right now. We ain't talking. Who is you again? I'm like, I never gave my name the first time.
It's always the ugly friend cock blocking.
Not
always.
I'm like,
wow.
yo.
You saw me. I was like,
it was just why it just blew my mind.
It's always Big Shirley. It's always Big Shirley out there looking out for her cute friend.
Not Big Shirley.
Big Shirley always out there looking out for her good looking friend. You got to get through Big Shirley, so you got to come with a dude who's willing to take that L with Big Shirley in order to get to her good looking friend. And
then say, were you by yourself?
I mean, I was by myself.
See, if I was there,
I didn't even initiate. I was minding my business, standing behind the line. Like standing behind them in the queue to get into the building.
You didn't even want no parts of that anyway. We just
they was probably all of like 21, 22. First time drinking, pandemic, post-pandemic, like
not first time drinking.
I'm like, yo, this is too much right here.
That's got to be a topic one day, because one thing I will say about women is the hardest. Me and you, we experienced this one time where you got a little liquid courage and decided to approach a group of women dancing. I said, AJ, don't do that, dog. You go over there with them 5 women dancing together, they are going to send you back with a hard L. I was like, dog. Oh, nah, she was looking at me. She made eye contact with me. She smiled at me. Dog, you don't understand. Approach her when she walks away from the group and is getting a drink, and approach her there. If you approach her in front of her friends, She gonna have to get one for the girl chat and curve the fuck out of you. Oh damn, girl, you curved him. Yeah, I don't know why he thought he could just come up in here and talk to me. You know,
not the girl chat. I promise you, that's not how it happens.
Dog. AJ, what happened when you approached that group?
No, but I can agree that just because there are some people that are immature, just like how the other friend said something to you, I do agree that it's better if you approach her when she's not necessarily in a group. And that's kind of like just because
club etiquette. This whole club etiquette thing is mind blowing.
No, I'm just saying in general. But I feel like in general, one, I think it's safer for the guy because then you're not bombarded with all these other women, and then two, there was another point I was gonna make. It may be a little more comfortable because you don't know. Like growing up, it's always like. Example, you may be dancing, you may be in the club, you dance with somebody or lounge or whatever, you may be dancing with somebody. And if your friend doesn't find the person attractive, they're like, no girl. Like, and the things at the end of the day, you don't know if I'm gonna find them attractive. Like what you like is not the same thing I like. So that is part of the reason why I say it. So then I'm sure it's like a lot to come up to somebody and approach them and try to have a conversation with them. So I think when they're not necessarily in the group, that's a better way to do it. Just in general. No.
I ain't want to talk to none of them. I just wanted to dance. But again, what your intentions are versus what they want to portray. They want to portray, you know what? We're untouchable. We're ungettable. All that kind of like nonsense energy.
Maybe they just didn't want to dance that day.
And we can wrap this all back in to conclude for tonight. This all plays into what? What does this all play into? How the fuck did they get that mindset? Men don't have
social media.
Dick. Social media, yes.
I was gonna say social
yes,
media.
but men don't have dick discipline because we keep casting a wide net. We keep pumping and dumping. We keep look at Nick Cannon, punk ass man. Yeah, I'm talking shit about you, Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon is not a high value man.
Oh,
He may have money, but that nigga is
what?
dumb as fuck. This dude has made 5 babies in the span of 9 fucking months. You've impregnated 4 different women in the span of 9 months and has 5 kids from that. Where's your generational wealth? It is fucking gone. You finesse Mariah Carey for no fucking reason. It's gone.
But then, I mean, isn't he like? Don't
So
he got
you're
like multiple bags though?
Go ahead, Lee.
Yeah. No, I was saying. So you're saying overall dick discipline with the whole story with Aaron that the story that he told about being in the club trying to dance up to women. You're saying that has everything to do with dick discipline, or you're just talking about the conversation in general?
I'm talking about it does because they're so used to having the pick of the litter because men always approach, like they automatically went on the defensive, right? He had zero interest in them, but they're just so used to always being approached. And why is that? Because men don't have dick discipline. They're not saying, okay.
You don't know why somebody's approaching though either though. Like we're not mind readers. We can't say, hey, okay, he's only.
Do you agree or disagree with that though, Lee?
No, I agree with you. Women are. I said that earlier. Women are on the offense. Sometimes it kind of goes out. So I didn't hear kind of where you were going with it earlier, but I do agree with you. I know what you're saying now. So I get what you're saying. I got it.
But the piece about Nick Cannon is not a high value man. He may be a multimillionaire, but if you don't have dick discipline, you can't be high value because
according to who?
According to men, we writing the rules to this. So I'm going to make some rules here. You can't be high value if you're fucking up the generational wealth. You now have to split your generational wealth between 5 different women, right? So now you have your kids with Mariah and the 4 Instagram models that you impregnated. His money is going to run out. The millions and millions of dollars is going to run out. They are going to take him for everything he's got. They willingly and happily had those babies. And that's another topic I want to get into is we're not even going to talk about that tonight. But, listen, Nick Cannon is not high value. All those kids, all those baby mamas, when he hits the grave, he is not going to be a multimillionaire by the time he hits the grave. And that's just facts. But I want to go ahead and wrap this up. This has been an amazing first live episode. I appreciate everyone rocking with us. Please hit that like and subscribe button. We'll be back next week. If y'all like what y'all heard, leave us some comments, leave us some messages. But please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that like button. And then just let us know about the discussion down below. Let that conversation keep going. And we'll be back next week. Peace.